Shalom, shalom. Most High Yahweh shall bless you all. Most High Yahweh shall bless you all. Happy Sabbath to all Israel out there that's scattered abroad. For all our brothers and sisters out there who may be tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, Clubhouse. Also, we are live on Twitch. I want to say Shabbat Shalom to all Israel out there. That means Happy Sabbath. You know, we keep this Sabbath from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. That's when Strong Tower Israelite School keep their Sabbath. You know, we understand that the Sabbath is governed by work. It's governed by work. Yeah, we understand that the Sabbath is governed by work. You know, it's not dictated by a moon. You know, so there's a lot of controversy surrounding the Sabbath. But if you examine the book of Genesis, chapter 1, you'll understand that the Sabbath is solely dictated based on the cycle of work. The Lord worked in 6 days, he rested on the seventh day. It's literally that simple. So if you have brothers and sisters out here teaching the Sabbath, anything outside of that, understand that that's off. And that's something that we do not teach here at Strong Tower Israelite School. We do not teach a lunar Sabbath. We teach a Sabbath that's solely based off of work per Genesis chapter 1. All right, from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, because it's understood also that our days begin at the evening. From evening to evening, that's when we celebrate our Sabbath. All right. So with that being said, I want to say Shabbat Shalom to all Israel that may be tuned in to this read along series. It's not going to be a long read along series this Sabbath, because we are in the final chapter. We are in the final chapter of Proverbs, and that's Proverbs 31. You know, Proverbs 31 is actually a popular chapter amongst a lot of sisters. But I hope all sisters understand Proverbs 31, because you got a lot of sisters out there like to say, I'm a Proverbs 31 woman. Okay, we're going to see if you're a Proverbs 31 woman, all right? Because this Proverbs 31 woman, guess what? She had levels to her, all right? So that's a title that a lot of sisters, it's okay if you strive to be a Proverbs 31 woman, but that's something that sisters have to work themselves into. You don't come in being a Proverbs 31 woman. That's just the honest truth. All right. Just like men don't come in being completely righteous men. We have to work towards these things. So a lot of sisters have that mindset amongst them that they want to claim titles that they really don't even fit those titles. All right. So the Proverbs 31 woman, that's what we're going to get into. And that's going to be this final chapter of Proverbs, and that's going to translate us over into the book of Ecclesiastes, another good book written by Solomon. As we stated before in these read-along series, that the Proverbs was also written by King Solomon, the son of David, one of the wisest king that reigned in Israel. All right. So first, we want to give our honor and praise to the Most High Yahweh for allowing us to be in this truth, to be mindful of this truth, to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, and to allow us to come to perfection in keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, of course, in the faith of his Son, our Lord, Yahweh Shai, of Mashiach, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. All right. We understand him in the truth. The Lord's name is Yahweh Shai. The Father's name is Yahweh. That's what we call the Father and the Son. All right. So with that being said, y'all, once again, Shabbat Shalom, and we're going to get straight into this read along series. Get your Bibles out, get your highlighters out, get your notepads out. Because like I always say, we like to bring precepts out in these read along series. I may say, listen, you may want to highlight this precept because this can be beneficial to your studies. I also say, hey, you may want to have it highlighted because you may see something in these scriptures that I may not see. That's the reason why I tell y'all to open your Bibles up, follow along, read along, get your highlighters out, get your notepads out, because it's a read along series that is also open, allows you to take notes and precepts, precept your precepts together, so you can be able to debate your cause and defend this doctrine when you come across brothers or sisters who may be opposed to your beliefs. All right. So, and also it is proof that when you come across a Hebrew Israelite and you hear them say something like salvation is only for Israel, or brothers should conduct themselves this way, or sisters should conduct themselves that way, you understand that long as you're reading these scriptures for yourself, you're going to have the precept needed to prove what you're saying. The scripture says, prove all things. And with this read along series, that's what I'm hoping brothers and sisters can come to the conclusion of, proving all things, because we're going to bring out precepts that's going to be associated to certain topics that you can defend your beliefs, you can defend the doctrine you believe in. All right. So with that being said, let's get straight into it, y'all. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 31, the final chapter of the book of Proverbs. The book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 1. It says, the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. All right. Verse 1 is a very heavy verse. It says, the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him, showing you that King Lemuel's mother was a very wise woman. All these words that we read in Proverbs 31, guess who King Lemuel got it from? He got it from a woman who is also his mother, showing you once again that the woman plays a very important role in teaching children and training up a child in the way that they should go, you know. And our sisters have a very important role, because when you bring children into this world, they are the first ones that they come. You are the first ones that they come in contact with. Your relationship with your child, with the children, is going to be very pivotal into you training them up in the way that they should go. And that's why our sisters have to be taught. They have to learn and they have to submit to their roles as wives or simply sisters in this truth, because y'all have a very important role in bringing up children in this truth. All right, so we want to highlight verse 1. All right, and we're going to read that again. It says, the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. Verse 2, what, my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows? Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroy king. Why would she say that? Because women understand women. Women understand each other emotionally. They understand their strengths. They understand their weaknesses. They understand the power that they have as women, how they can have that power over men. So she's warning her son, listen, give not thy strength unto women, because that's not where your strength shall lie. Your strength shall lie in being obedient to the Most High God. That's where your strength shall be at. Your strength should not be into giving into your pleasures over to women. You know, I'm gonna say a word that we use today, being a simp for women, being soft towards women, being ignorant when it comes to women, being unwise when it comes to women. His mother is telling him that. Don't give your strength unto women. That is something that a lot of brothers have to understand. You know, we aren't supposed to give our strength to women, meaning don't yield and submit yourselves to women. You don't do that. You have to be a man. You have to be strong-minded. You have to think logically. You can't always think emotionally. You're not wired like that. You have to make educated decisions, wise decisions. So your mindset cannot be given over to a woman because you're going to adopt the traits that she has. All right. So we want to highlight verse 3. And she also said, nor thy ways to that which destroy kings. Because if you give your strength over to a woman, they can destroy you. Meaning you're not going to be thinking in the mindset of logically, how do I conduct myself as a man? How do I make wise decisions as a man? That's how they destroy kings. A perfect example of that is King Solomon, who actually is simply the narrator of the book of Proverbs. All right. He was destroyed by women because he gave his strength unto women. What did they call Solomon to do? They called Solomon to go off into idolatry, to worship other gods. The strange women did. They caused Solomon to go off into idolatry, to worship other gods, and to make unwise decisions because he built altars and groves to those gods that he had made, to those women that he made wives of. They taught him their gods. All right. And the Lord warned Solomon and all kings not to do that. Don't take you wives of the strange women, because they will turn your heart away from me. All right. So let's get that precept to show that. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 17. Deuteronomy chapter 17. Let me see. Deuteronomy 17 is not really the one that I want, but it still is a good precept. Turn your heart away from worshiping me. Bear with me, y'all. Oh, Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 4. Let's go there. All right. I'm quoting the wrong precept, but that's a good precept too in Deuteronomy chapter 17. All right. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse let's start at verse 1. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1. It says, when the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and has cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. So the Lord did not want us to be lenient with those nations when we came into that land. Don't make no covenant with them. Don't show no mercy towards them, meaning you need to destroy them because they will be a distraction. They will turn your heart away from the Lord. All right, verse 3, he says, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Meaning this scripture right here is what we use to show you that interrelation marriages are not permitted in the nation of Israel. We do not supposed to be marrying white people, quote unquote Edomites, Chinese people, Japanese people, who else? Indians, Hamites, the real Africans. We don't supposed to marry them. The people that we do marry are our people. We can marry our brothers and sisters of the Northern Kingdom, that is the quote unquote Mexicans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Colombians, and of course, all those quote unquote black people are the Haitians, Jamaicans, also the Native Americans of Negroid descent. We can marry our own people, but we do not supposed to marry the other nations. Why did the Lord say this? Let's continue to read. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. The reason why the Lord didn't want us to do that, because these other nations, they worship the sun, they worship the moon, they worship Christmas, they worship Thanksgiving, they worship all the holidays of this world. These are things that they celebrate. Of course, all people are in the wrong for celebrating them too, because we don't supposed to do that. But the Lord understood if we made marriages with these other nations, they would simply persuade us to worship the things that they worship. All right, so that's why we don't supposed to do that. Let's go back. Let's go back to do. I'm sorry. Proverbs chapter 31, verse 3. All right, this is the book of Proverbs chapter 31, verse 3. It says, give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroy kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink, lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. Why is she telling her son that? Because as a king, you're supposed to have a certain level of discipline, that you don't supposed to be giving over to wine. You don't supposed to be giving over to strong drink. That don't mean that you don't supposed to drink. She's not saying that. She's simply saying, watch how you indulge in alcohol, because your mind can be hindered in making bad calls when it comes to judgment and also upholding the law. That's what she's saying. All right. So when you're in the position of being a king, you have to move very wise, because you are the upper echelon. The whole nation is looking at you as an example. You are the leader. You go in and out amongst the nation Israel to make decisions, to fight for them, and to provide for them, and to teach them the laws, and to uphold the laws by being a great example. So she's saying, like, when you pretty much give yourself over to strong drink and wine, you hinder yourself from making good judgment calls or simply upholding the law. Let's read that again. We're going to highlight verse 4 and 5. All right. Verse 4, it said, it is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink, lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. I mean, they can be even partial in judgment and they can forget the law. All right. Verse 6, it says, give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. All right, and that's very important, because that's the same exact thing that happened with Noah after the flood. He had drunk strong drink because Noah saw everybody get wiped off the face of the earth, and he simply needed that remedy to take his mind off of it. That's what she's simply saying. It's for those people who are sorrow and they need to be in a good, because that's what wine and strong alcohol can do to you if you don't overindulge. It can put you in a mellow mood. It can calm things down for you. It can put you in a relaxing mood. But when you overdo it, then you become sloppy. You become a drunkard. You're saying things that you may not have meant to be said, but it's pretty much the things that you already thinking that's on your heart. So you have to watch when you indulge in these things. But she's saying simply give it to those people who are needful of them. All right. So let's highlight verse 6. And we're going to read that again. All right. Proverbs chapter 31, verse 6, it says, give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. Let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more. Right. I want to highlight verse 7, because that's also a good remedy for somebody who's simply in a low state. A person that's poor, they're already at the bottom. They're very low. They may be depressed. If you get those people wine or something that can soothe their mind, it's a helpful thing to them, and I know a lot of our people have a wrong impression of the poor. Some people that are poor don't simply drink because they are drunkards. They're simply drinking because they're trying to, ease themselves of the current state that they're in. It's not always. Now, you do have some poor people that simply are drunkards. They're giving over into their bad habits, whether it's drugs or alcoholics or such and such. But that's not always the cause for every poor person that you see. Some people fall on hard times, and they may simply need their remedy to simply uplift them from the current state that they're in. All right. So verse 8, it says, open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Verse 9 is showing you that you can judge. She's telling her son to judge righteous judgment, the same thing that the Lord told all Israel to do. Judge righteous judgment. Speak up for the poor in time of need. Judge righteous judgments. That's what she's saying. Verse 9, open thy mouth and judge righteously and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Meaning, don't turn your back on the poor and needy. Be a help to them. Be an aid to them. All right. Verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. This is a woman saying this to her son. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. Showing you that all women are not virtuous, because it's hard to find. Her price is far above rubies. Ruby is a very expensive jewel, and it costs a lot. The same as that way a virtuous woman, she costs a lot. You're not just going to come across a virtuous woman and think you have one. If you do, all praise to the Most High. That means that the Lord is blessing you. But if you stumble across a sister who needs, work and things like that, that simply it is what it is. Because all women don't come into this truth virtuous. A lot of our people, in the context of where I'm speaking, sisters, they have these curses on them too. So they have to work up towards that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you get a sister who already understands it and she's rocking with you 100%, understand the Lord just simply blessed you with something that's very hard to find. All right. It says, who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doeth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. What does that mean? It says, the heart of her husband doeth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. Spoil is simply treasures and different types of rewards gotten after a war. Just like when the children of Israel went to war with other nations, they carried their spoils out. They got all their gold, their silver, their clothing that was of costly array, everything that simply costs. That's what spoils are. It's rewards received after a war. In this context, it says the heart of her husband doeth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil, showing you that this virtuous woman, she got motion. She has things of value in her. She adds to him. She don't take away, so that he can trust in her. You know what? If I fall on hard times, I know my wife got me. That's basically what that's saying, because she got stuff going for herself. That's why this woman is very rare. If you bring this up to the time what we're living in today, a lot of sisters think they don't have to do nothing. I'm just going to allow my husband to provide for me. I'm not going to do nothing. Just sit back, relax, and just watch him. No, sister, you're not a help. You're not a virtuous woman. So that title is not for you. You're a woman of the world, because that's what the world teach women. No, if you're a sister in this truth, you're supposed to be a help to your husband. If you want to claim the title of being a virtuous woman, you need to have some stuff going on for yourself so you can aid your husband or simply support his vision if he falls on hard times or he simply needs your help to get to where he's going. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a virtuous woman. All right, so we want to highlight verse 11 and 10. All right. All sisters want to be Proverbs 31, but y'all falling short. All right, or you simply don't understand what type of woman this is. All right, verse 12, it says, she will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She got respect for her husband. She's not going to allow him to look bad, and she's not going to disrespect him in his presence, and she's simply going to respect him when she's not in his presence. She's going to do him good all the days of her life and not evil. All right, we're going to break this down. Verse 12, we're going to highlight that. Verse 13, it says, she seek wool and flax and work willingly with her hands. Yes, this sister has skills. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands, and worketh willingly with her hands. Understand that wherever the sister is doing, she may be a sister that can crochet. She may be a sister that can sew. She may be a sister that can make garments. She may be a sister like, you know what? Those things may not interest me, but I want to go out here in the world and develop a skill that requires me to work with my hands. And let's bring this up to the day. You got a lot of sisters, that's are in men's fields. You got a lot of sisters who have simply been in truck driving, a lot of sisters who have been in welding. I don't came across sisters who are in welding. I don't came across sisters who are in HVAC. All these things require you to work with your hands. And there's nothing wrong with sisters who want to take on those tests. That's something that interests them. Let them do it. Because working with your hands is very broad. All sisters don't want to be confined to simply, how can I say this? Less strenuous labors. They want to simply do stuff, what they see men doing, and just let them do it. That's how I look at it. Yeah, another person may not have the same opinions as me. I look at sisters who want to simply do these tasks that men do. In the world that we live in today, they push for it. Women push for equal rights today. If they want to have these same jobs that men do, hey, by all means, let them do what they do. All right. But also, if you in these roles, you have to understand that you got to know how to cut that off. You got to know how to remain in your feminine, because most of these jobs that men do, it requires strength. It requires a certain level of attitude, a masculine mindset. So, sisters, if y'all understand, when you take on these roles, you have to be wise when you're doing them. You can't measure yourself up to a man now because you're doing what a man do. No, you got to cut that off. If you want to take on that role, understand that you still are a woman. You still need to be soft. You still need to be feminine. You still need to submit to your husband. You still need to show men respect. All right. That's just basically what comes with it. So let's read that again. Verse 12. It says, she will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She will seek wool and flax and work willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ship. She bring her food from afar, meaning she got things coming. She got things coming from her. That saying, the saying that is today is, what do you bring to the table? I don't heard this a lot of times. I'm just gonna say many times. Men asking women, what do you bring to the table? All right. And that's very biblical. It's nothing wrong with a man asking a woman, look, what do you bring to a table? Men understand what they have to do. They have to protect, they have to provide, they have to take care of their family. They have to work. All right. But if a man asks you, I understand I have to do all this. What do you bring to me? There's nothing wrong with him asking you that, sister. That is a valid point that he's asking you. He's simply saying, how can you help me in my endeavors? What skills do you bring to this relationship? How can you simply assist me? Those are the things that men are asking in general. So if a sister gets offended by that, she's not ready. That sister is not ready. All right. Verse 14, she is like the merchant ship. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and give meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. So let's break this down. This woman have work on. She's working. She has her own skills, wherever it may be. She's working with her hands. But guess what? She also understands. Even though I have these things that I'm doing to sustain my skills or to simply, to uphold my duties, I also have a duty in the household. That's what she understands. Verse 15 says, she riseth also while it is yet night. It's dinner time. That's what it's saying. It's time for the babies to eat. It's time for the family to eat. It says, and give meat to her household and a portion to her maidens, showing you that this is not a degular sister. This sister got maidens. She's providing for her household because that's where her reign is at. She understands that's where her responsibility is at. That's where her duties is at. That's her principal duty, to provide for her household. All right, so we want to highlight verse 15. I hope no sisters ain't frowning at me because I'm coming off like this now. Because at the end of the day, I ain't write it. I did not write this. A lot of sisters want the title, but they don't want to do the work. So verse 16, it says, she considereth a field and buyeth it. Understand, sisters, it's not only understand this Proverbs 31 woman, she got business going on. She gonna look at a field. Let's bring this up into our time. She may look at a house. She may look at a car. She may look at land and be like, you know what? I want that land. This land can benefit my family, my children, and my husband. I want that and I'm going to get it. Now let's keep it in the context of the scriptures. It says, she considereth a field and buyeth it with the fruit of her hands. She planteth a vineyard. Showing you another important task that a lot of sisters was in. They was into planting gardens, gardening. That is something that a lot of sisters did in that time. A perfect example is the sister Ruth. She saw that Boaz had a lot of crops, and guess what she did? She did the same thing in the fields that the other workers were doing, showing you that was something that our sister took pride in doing. Planting gardens, because what comes from garden? Food. What comes from garden? Wealth. That is something that she understood. So let's highlight that. And what this chapter is showing you, sisters, hopefully y'all seeing this. All the work is not on the man. That's why sisters are supposed to be helped. When the Lord created woman, he said it's not good for a man to be alone. And I will create a help that is meet for him. That means I'm gonna give him somebody that can help and assist him in the things that he simply wants to accomplish. That's what that is. And this Proverbs 31 is simply showing you a woman with that mindset. She already understands that. Let's read verse 16 again. She considereth a field and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands, she planteth a vineyard. She gird up her loins with strength and strengthen her arms. She perceived that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. And that means that she's always busying herself. When it says that her candle goeth not out by night, it means that she's building, tending to business that may require her to be up for a while, whether that's putting the kids, operating with the kids, or simply she may have a lot more stuff to sew, or whatever she may need to do around that household. She may pretty much stay up for a while. That's what they're saying. Her candle goeth not out by night. All right. Verse 19, it says, she layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff, showing you once again, that's validating verse 18, showing you that she's constantly working. She's sewing, right? She's constantly working. In this context, she's sewing. All right. And I'll say this as a sidebar. All sisters, y'all should develop that skill of sewing, because that would literally keep your mind busy. Whether it's crocheting, whether it's what are some more things? Knitting, crocheting, knitting, sewing, designing, anything. Those things will keep your mind idle, or simply keep your mind from worrying, because you will occupy yourself in the things that you're more focused on, which is very appropriate for you, because you don't understand when you take in certain things, you're simply providing for your family. Providing clothing, you're providing a skill that you can pass down to your daughters or even your sons, because it's not only women that do these things. You have a lot of brothers who are very gifted in making clothing. All right, so don't get it twisted. A lot of men can do these same things that a lot of these sisters do, take on the same skills, and I have seen it. All right, and I put myself out there. I can sew. I can use I'm not a hand person. I can get a sewing machine and I can sew my clothes. I can do that. So I'm one of those brothers who actually taught myself how to put that ribbon of blue on them clothes, and them fringes, because I was scared. All right, so let's keep going. Verse 19, it says, she layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. Verse 20, she stretcheth out her hand to the poor. Yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. This is not a woman that is selfish. This sister shows compassion. She understands that the poor is needy. Whatever it is she's doing, she's setting up, she's using her skills to assist in the poor. Whether that is, if she's a sister like to knit and to sew, she's sewing clothes to give to the poor. Or she's simply providing food from her vineyard to give to the poor. All she's starting a nonprofit business to assist with those who are less than fortunate. That's how that works. All right. It says, verse 20, she stretcheth out her hand to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her, she is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. So she understands that, listen, this time of the season is coming up. I need to have this ready. This time of the season is coming up. I need to have these things ready. So she's thinking ahead. She's not doing stuff in the moment, falling behind. This sister completely understands her duties. All right. Verse 22, it says, she maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. So this is a sister that, when it says she maketh her coverings of tapestry, her clothing is silk and purple. Silk is a very fine fabric, you know. So it shows that this sister may have style, you know. It says she maketh her clothing, she maketh herself coverings of tapestry and clothing, blankets. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Yeah, that's what covers. Okay, coverings of tapestry, and her clothing silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sit among the elders of the land. Why is this man known? Because his wife is a great example. They looking at his wife like, this is a great man. Look how his wife behaved. Look how she moved. That's how he's also known in the gate, because she is a reflection of him. It's not simple because her husband may be wise. Keep it in the context of what we're reading. She is that perfect example, and it's known that, dang, this sister is a good example to her husband. That's why he's known in the gate, because everybody's watching his wife like, look how this sister moving. She looking out like, she doing this, she doing that. Who is her husband? Oh, this is what's her name sitting right next to the elders and stuff like that. That's how that works. So it don't matter. If you're a brother in this, let's keep it up, let's bring it up to the day. If you're a brother in this truth and you sit in high positions, understand that your whole life is on display in front of everybody. You can't hide yourself in this truth if you sit in positions that require you to teach or to simply put yourself out there and be over brothers and sisters to guide them and lead them. Your life is on display. So that means that if it comes to the forefront and your household is not in order, guess who that's going to be? That's going to get. One of my words getting chopped up. That's going to simply leave a bad impression on your household. Why? Because your household is not in order. You sit in a position of power, but if your wife don't respect you or your children don't respect you, guess who it's going to be a reflection of? It's going to be a reflection of you. That means that you need to get your stuff in order. All right. So let's read that again. Verse 23. Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. She make fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. So this sister has a business. In order for her to make fine linen and sell it, she has a business, and she deliver it unto the merchants. Let's bring it up to the time. You may have a lot of, let's just say that you have a sister let's just keep it in the context. She makes clothing. So she goes and finds a distributor to distribute her merchandise. That's what a merchant is. They distribute merchandise. She makes it and she gives it to the merchant to put it on displays in order for her to sell it. So she has a business. All right. It says, she make a fine linen and selleth it, and deliver girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She opened her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Yeah, we want to highlight 25 through 26. All right. And I'm gonna try to explain this. How can a woman's clothes be full of strength and honor? It's talking about her clothing. I'm going to show you how they are. Let's go to 1 Timothy 2 and 9. Let's show you how her clothing is full of strength and honor. 1 Timothy 2 and 9. All right, this is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 9. It says, in like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel. In modest apparel. When a woman has on modest apparel, understand that she is a woman of strength and she is a woman of honor. That's how her clothing are full of strength and honor. Because guess what? She understands that she can't dress however she want to dress. It is a bad representation of herself. So if let's just give an example, if you have a woman who's full of truth and wisdom and she's not, and it don't reflect on the outward appearance, and she's simply dressing like a harlot, that's not clothing of full strength and honor. Those are clothes of a harlot. But if you have a woman who's simply in this truth and she understands that she have to dress modestly, she can't be out here showing her goods, her skin, uh put her husband pretty much dressing in a way that can bring disgrace to her husband or simply to men in general, because men are going to label a woman how she dress. If a woman is out here showing a figure, she want to simply be seen and seek attention, she's going to have a title put on her by men, and they may not understand that. When you dress a certain type of way, sisters, you're going to fall into a category, even if you may not think you're that. Men look at the outward appearance also. So let's go back to Proverbs 31 and 25. It says, strength and honor are in her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. So sisters, dress modestly. That's where your strength and honor is going to come from. You can't be out here dressing any kind of way, especially like the world standards, because you're going to be misled. What the world deemed as modest is not modest according to the scriptures. All right, understand that. Strength and honor are in her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She opened her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Now, it just showed you what the wisdom is that's in her mouth. It's the law. All right, it says she opened up her mouth with wisdom, and that can be very broad. All right, it says in her tongue is the law of kindness. So it's showing you that the wisdom in this context that's in her mouth is the laws, the words of the Most High God. But how is she presenting it? With kindness. She's not rash. She's not masculine. She's not high voice. She's not none of that. She's soft with it. She can teach. She know how to simply control herself when it comes to teaching other women. So the law in her mouth is wise because it comes from a place of kindness. All right. It says, she looketh well to the ways of her household and eateth not the bread of idleness. She looketh well to the ways of her household. So she's always mindful of, what do my house need? What do my children need? What needs to be fixed around here? What needs to be, anything that has to do with that household, she already understands it. Because guess what? That's where her control comes in. The man is not always going to be there. The children is going to be there, and guess whose face they're going to behold? Mommy. Mommy is going to be there. Mommy is going to make sure that when the king comes home, when the Lord, her Lord comes home, everything is situated. So the only thing he got to come in and do is, do what he do, whatever it is. First, give honor and praise to his. I appreciate you for having everything in order. That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna look around. Dang, it smells good in here. Dang, it's clean in here. The babies, they taken care of. What's that? What I smell in there? That's food in there? That's how he gonna be. That's what he's gonna be. Gonna look at his wife, bring it in. That's what he's going to do. Because he's going to be appreciative because her ways is going to be fixated on that household. A lot of sisters don't understand that. In the world today, they make it seem like taking care of the house for a woman is a very small thing, but it's really not. That is a major task for a woman to take on because they make our sisters think that what I'm doing is small. I should be doing the same thing that my husband is doing. No, you should not. You have your own roles. Men go out in the world, men are conquerors. They go out in the world and they go conquer things in the world. Women get their protection and their honor from taking care of things that's in the house. That's how it's set up. All right. A lot of sisters have to adapt that mentality and simply come out of the world like the Lord told us to do. All right. So let's read verse 27 again. It says, she looketh well to the ways of her household and eat not the bread of idleness. Like we were just saying, the bread of idleness is anything that can take her mind off of her responsibilities as a wife or a sister in this truth in general. If her mind is focused on the world and she's idle and she's not doing the duty that she's supposed to do, guess who's going to come into her mind? Satan. Satan will be there. That's what an idle mind do to our sisters. Guess who did the serpent come to first? Came straight to Eve. Adam laid down a law. The Lord told Adam, listen, don't do this. And his wife knew not what to do. But whatever the high took place during that time, she was not upholding what Adam told her. So Satan found her in the most vulnerable place, whether she was idle or whatever. I don't know that information. We just know what the text say. She was able to be deceived. It's very easy for our sisters to be deceived in this truth. One, because of idleness. You're not busying yourself. Your focus is somewhere else. All right. So sisters, stop being idle. Stop worrying about what the men are doing. Worry about your duties as a sister in this truth or simply a wife in this truth. Because if you're idle, Satan is going to come for you. All right. Verse 27 says, she looketh well to the ways of her household and eat not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her children respect her. Her children are appreciative of her. Man, my mom is a blessing. She look out for me. She do all this stuff for me. I see how my mom moves. She teach me the scriptures. She provides for me. She cook for me. My mom always, well, I ain't gonna say always in a good mood, but my mom, she's simply my mom. She's blessed. That's how her children is going to arise and praise her. They're going to respect her. All right. It says her husband also, he prays of her. So her husband is not simply being a lion at the house. So if her husband see that she's simply doing what she's supposed to do, man, you know what? My wife needs some flowers. You know what? My wife needs some new clothes. You know what? My wife needs a Bentley. You know, he's going to simply look to do extra for his wife. That's what men appreciate. Our sisters have to understand that. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, your husband is going to have your back 1,000%. He's going to simply look to reward you for it. So you're getting double the praise from your children and from your husband. All right. It's verse 29. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Now, 30 is very important. It says favor is deceitful. I mean, you may have a sister who's very liked amongst a lot of people. But just because a sister has favor amongst a lot of sisters don't mean that she's have favor in the sight of the Lord. That can be deceitful. You know, it also goes to the next level. And beauty is vain. Just because a sister is beautiful, don't mean that she's righteous. Don't mean that the Lord see her as beautiful. Don't mean that men view her as valuable because she's beautiful. It's more deeper than that. That's what the scripture is saying. This is coming from a woman. I hope y'all understand that. She's teaching these things to her son, showing you that this is the mindset that you should have as a woman when it comes to teaching your children, especially your sons. Because your son, when he gets older, he's going to come across one of these dragon women. And if you haven't been teaching him what he's supposed to be teaching, your son is going to be destroyed out here. He may be entertaining harlots. He may not understand how to discern women. So your example of a wife and a sister in his truth is going to be the first example that he see when it's time for him to choose his mate. Because he's going to know, no, my mama don't do that. My mama don't dress like that. My mama don't speak like that. Oh, my mom don't talk to men like that. That's what he's going to be looking at. So if you're not doing those things, it's going to be your fault if he come across a sister that's straightly destroyed. All right. Verse 30. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Showing you that everything that she's doing it because she wants to please the Lord. She's going to find favor from the Lord. Why? Because she fear the Lord. And that's something that a lot of sisters have to do. You have to fear the Lord. Forget your own mindset and your own understanding in your heart. You have to fear the Lord. Because guess what? If you're not doing the duties that you're supposed to do in this life, or whenever the Lord come back, guess who's going to be judged for it? You are. If you allow this world to simply manipulate your mind / your heart and cause you not to do what's required of you in this truth, and you be led astray, guess who's going to pay for it when the Lord come back? You are. Because the example is here. You just got to follow it. All right. Let's read verse 30 again. It says, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. Read verse 31 again. Give her of the fruit of her hands, meaning give her the things that is needful for her. If you see this sister is working, give her a reward because that she deserves that reward. If you see a virtuous woman, give her a praise because she deserves her praise. Give it to her because she's showing you that she put the work in. She deserves everything that comes to her. It says, give her of the fruit of her hands and let her own works praise her in the gates. Meaning it's not going to simply be her beauty. It's not going to be the favor that she may have. It's going to simply be her works that's going to praise her in the gates. There's no need to simply say, you know what, such and such and such and such did this and did that. They can like, no, that couldn't be that sister because she did this, she did that. No, you talking about the wrong sister, brother. Look what all she did. She done made garments. She done gave to the poor. Her household is in order. She respect her husband. You know, look at that field down there. You know she bought that field. We ain't talking about the same sister. You know, so it says, and let her own works praise her in the gates because her works is going to speak for themselves, y'all. So hopefully y'all got some understanding on Proverbs 31. And it's just the sad truth. A lot of sisters are not Proverbs 31. You're not. Even if you in the Christian church, and that's a famous saying among sisters in the Christian church. I'm a Proverbs 30. No, you're not. No, you're not. You don't even want to wear a dress. You're not Proverbs 31. You don't even want to stop eating pork. You're not Proverbs 31. You still want to go to the club Friday and Saturday and show up on church on Sunday. You're not Proverbs 31. You're not. Stop it. So we're going to leave it at that, y'all. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this last chapter of the book of Proverbs. We're going to transition over into the book of Ecclesiastes, Lord willing. You know, Lord willing. All right. I will see y'all next time for the book of Ecclesiastes. I got to get the thumbnail together for that. So that's going to be real soon. Lord willing, it's going to be next Sabbath. You know, because honestly, my work schedule has turned hectic right now. So I usually do like Friday and Sunday, but my work schedule has took a turn, you know, so I'm going to leave it at that. Lord willing, I can get back on the same course that I was with the read along series, but you know, things happen, y'all. So with that being said, y'all, hopefully y'all enjoyed this read along series. Sisters, please, man, meditate on this class. You know, meditate on this chapter, you know, because at the end of the day, A man didn't write Proverbs 31. There was a mother giving game to her son, King Lemuel, about women and what he should look for in women and what the right woman looks like. Hopefully, y'all understand that. All right. So, with that being said, y'all, I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom. We'll see y'all next class. Sabbath class is going to be on what to do, what and what not to do on the Sabbath day. So that's going to be a good class that the elder is going to bring. What and what not to do on the Sabbath. Because that still there's a lot of confusion going on about how we should keep the Sabbath and what we should do and what we shouldn't do on the Sabbath. So we're going to try to break that down as clear as possible, and hopefully brothers and sisters can understand it also. So with that, y'all, I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom to our brothers and sisters who tuned in on Facebook, YouTube, Clubhouse, and also on Twitch. We're going to be coming to more platforms. Also, I think I'm going to get on TikTok Live too. Brother Eldad told me about that. Shout out to my brother Eldad. He putting us on platforms to get on. So TikTok Live is coming next. And then I think I'm going to get on, I think it's a streaming site called Rumble. I'm going to check that out too. So with that being said, y'all, we'll see y'all next class this Sabbath. And hopefully y'all stay in the spirit. Enjoy this Sabbath day. Remember what we're supposed to do on the Sabbath day. No cooking, no cleaning, no servile work. These are the things that we don't supposed to do on the Sabbath. Honor this day, rest on this day, meditate in the scriptures on this day. These are the things that we're supposed to do. All right. So with that being said, y'all, until next time, I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom. Most Yahweh bless you all.